Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers coming to you from the 2014 West Michigan Policy Forum taped at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel in downtown Grand Rapids. Joining me now is the chairman of the board for the West Michigan Policy Forum, Jim Dunlap. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you. This
is the fourth annual conference, correct? And it's a bit unique in that this forum takes place not every year, but every other year.
We are designed to make sure that the things that we commit to and that we're asked to focus on, we work on and hold ourselves accountable for that. So the off year, so to speak, the non-forum year, those are very active advocacy years, partnership years, accountability years, where we pursue the agendas that our group will end up giving us today and have for the last 4 years, and make sure that we make progress against those and report out accordingly.
What have some of the past agendas been? And speaking of accountability, have you been able to make progress in implementing some of the things that have been discussed in the past?
We have. A couple examples I would give you, perhaps some of the more sublime but very important. There was a time in Michigan where the laws required that there be line item pricing on every retail product in Michigan. So you saw the tagline or the barcode down below, but you also saw a little paper sticker on every retail item. It's $1 billion in cost for the retailers in Michigan, an antiquated law, very difficult to get dealt with, but our priorities in 2008 were to deal with that. That's been eliminated to some very serious and ongoing ones, such as the Michigan business tax, which was rewritten, and certainly now the right to work, freedom to work issue that we dealt with in 2010, 2011. So a lot of progress.
Obviously, those major statewide issues, they don't just affect West Michigan, but you're saying the discussions to make policy changes started here in West Michigan.
Well, the participation, just like today, is from 35 different communities in Michigan. This is very much a statewide conversation around statewide issues. The focus here, though, is policy. What sort of policies can we encourage the legislature to make, have conversations on subject matter experts on both sides, and get a good compromise and a set of recommendations out of it for Michigan. So it's not a Grand Rapids, a West Michigan issue specifically. It's domiciled here, but we encourage and engage conversations from all over the state to get to that point.
What are the big conversations taking place this year, the topics that you're going to be working on hopefully over the next couple of years?
So we spent the last 18 months going around the state and listening, and 3 topics emerged at the top. The transportation issue, which you've certainly watched with great interest. The talent issue that is vital to our future, young people, and making sure we get the kind of high-skilled workers in Michigan we can get. And interestingly enough, term limits. And the term limits we have in place now, some of the strictest in the country, have been in place long enough to have an evaluation. Are we getting what we thought when we advocated for those? Are they producing the right outcomes? And is there any modifications that should be discussed or thought about going forward?
So those will all be discussed this week or over the next day or so, and then you'll actually vote on how to proceed or what's priority. How does that all work?
We want to have a very, very informed participant organization. So the folks that are here will hear both sides of these issues throughout the day. Those 3 are particularly being focused on. And then before we leave, we bring up a set of very clear but clearly provocative both sides of the issues on those, and we ask our participants to actually vote. Those votes then are published. We will take the top 3 or 4, in some cases 5, and that will be our agenda for the next 2 years, which we will culminate in whether it's quarterly, semi-annual, or annual reports back to the community. And by the way, those that are not finished do not roll off. We stay on the ones that we have on the priorities. So we'll leave today with a set of new priorities.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was the chairman of the board for the West Michigan Policy Forum, Jim Dunlap.